Good morning, traders. I'm Emily Advani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Monday, August 4th. We start a new week after a wild end to last week to kick off the month of August. Markets took a downturn following the latest tariff announcements from President Trump and weaker than expected jobs data. All three major indices closed in the red. The Dow tumbled 542 points, or about 1.25%. The S&P 500 sank 101 points, or 1.6%. The Nasdaq lost 472 points, or 2.25%. Bill, let's get into a new week and Monday's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Hi, yes. Good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. We're actually we're in the green. We're up 0.55%, more than half of 1%. We were up over 0.6 of 1%, but hey, I'll take 0.55. That shows real positive action, especially when you consider how negative the action was on Friday. So and that was due to the employment report. And then Friday after the close, Federal Reserve Governor Adriana Kugler, she resigned, which is kind of unexpected, but she did it on Friday, which gives President Trump the opportunity to nominate a replacement. And that person is going to be dovish on interest rates. So that person may be able to influence interest rates a bit. So you combine that development of a possible new Fed governor with that softer labor market data, the net result is increased expectations for a Fed rate cut in September. That's really what's driving these markets. I see some people say, it's buy the dip. No, it's about lowering interest rates, because now we really have a path to it, and you're going to have another governor who's going to be dovish. But the issue is that Congress and the Senate are in summer recess starting today. They're gone for a month, and can you get that nominee nominated and passed inside of like a couple weeks? That's going to be tough to do. What else do we see? Trump special envoy Witkoff, he's going to be traveling to Russia. I think the meeting is going to be Wednesday or Thursday. It wasn't quite clear, but I suspect it's going to be Thursday. Key economic data point for today is Commerce Data's report on factory orders for June. After the bell today, you got earnings coming out from Palantir, VRTX, WMB, SPG, HIMS, and BMRN, BioMarin. What else was they? You're kind of taking a look over at Europe this morning, and realistically, we are seeing gains in Europe. I mean, the DAX is up 314 points. That's 1.34%. That's a nice, strong move, and you're seeing gains in autos, financials, and industrials. Then you look at the FTSE. The FTSE's up 0.4 of 1%. Bank stocks are higher. Mining stocks are showing positive actions. Pharma stocks are a little weak. The CAC in Paris is up 0.84%. Luxury stocks, energy stocks, banking stocks, they're all showing gains. Looking at Asia last night, and there was a big mixed bag of action. I mean, the Nikkei fell 1.25%. Tech was weak. Financials, consumer stocks really led the move lower, but they have a fragmented government that's causing concerns over policy directions, and so it's a little bit different what's happening in Tokyo. In Hong Kong, the Hang Seng jumped 0.92%. I mean, sentiment was broad across the Asian Pacific markets. Why? Because the prospects of a rate cut. And then you look at China. The Shanghai finished higher by 0.66%. Sentiment was good. There was a lack of support from the Chinese Politburo meeting, but we did see financials and defense stocks move higher. So overall, it was positive. And then you turn in to oil, and oil is getting hit. I mean, oil's down over 2%. WTI is down 2.29%. Then you got Brent down 2.01% to $68.28. I mean, on Sunday, OPEC agreed to raise oil production for September by 547,000 barrels per day. Wow, that's a big move higher. So that increased production is really what's causing oil prices to weaken, and a 2% move lower. Oil prices moved up 3% last week, and and there was a lot of reasons why, but today we're already seeing a 2% drop in oil. But that's what I have for you in terms of morning market update, Emily.
Bill, we're walking into a new week, really balancing all those factors that you did mention, including, anything that is going on with the Fed and expectations for a future rate cut, given the number of developments that happened on Friday, along with that key economic data that came out. And throughout this week, we're going to be keeping a pulse on economic data and events, and of course, earnings action and other market moving news, because those things are still moving forward as we start a new week. We will start with earnings action, another area that continues to have important data coming out. So, Bill, what is going on in terms of earnings action?
I got to talk about Wayfair, ticker W. Wayfair, they beat by 54 cents on higher revenue, and that stock's flying this morning. It's up 11.78%. And let's talk Tyson Foods, ticker TSN, Tom, Sam, Nancy. These guys delivered a beat of 13 cents, and they did it on higher revenue. That stock's up over 4% this morning. So, those are positive. After the bell today, you got Palantir, PLTR. Their EPS is 14 cents. Expected move is 8.40%. And Cyber Property Group, that's ticker SPG. EPS is $3.04. Expected move is 4.67% when they release earnings after the bell today, Emily.
And Bill, when it comes to economic events today, there is at least one important economic report to keep an eye on. But again, we're sort of balancing these indicators with all that's happening when it comes to trade and President Trump, the Fed. So, Bill, what is going on in terms of the day's economic events?
There's only really one key economic event to focus on today, which is the factory orders for June, which is coming out at 10 a.m. They're forecasted to drop by 5.2% for June after that 8.2% increase in May, which kind of, reflects the volatility in capital goods demand. So that's the only real big economic report that I'm seeing today is factory orders, Emily.
And you'll be watching that information using your NewsWare alert for economic events. You're following those earnings reports using your alert for earnings reports. And then you're also following other types of data, news, and information, setting up your NewsWare with a variety of alerts so you can catch news and information as it happens. You're looking at things like merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news, and catalyst calls. You're watching your stocks grouped together like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks to really track trends on the trading day. So, Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
Doing a quick data check. I'm looking at my Dow stocks. I got 4 lower. I got 5 unchanged and 21 higher. All my FANG stocks are in the green. So, we're looking for a positive day. And you're looking at some of the news behind the tape, like Apple has formed a new division that answers the knowledge and information team to work on Chat GPT like search experiences. Okay. Meta, Mark Zuckerberg apparently is looking to acquire Thinking Machines Lab. Tesla, hey, their board approved a big pay package for Elon Musk. The guy's being awarded 96 million shares, which is worth about $29 billion. Wow. Then we're talking about Dow Jones 30 stocks, and we're talking about Boeing, ticker BA. Shares are slightly off this morning. Workers in the St. Louis area, defense business, went on strike this morning. Now, this isn't the airplanes. This is for, defense planes. So it's not as big of a ticket item for them, but still they'll need to resolve this, and they'll be able to resolve this week. Disney, ticker DIS, the NFL will place many of its top media holdings within the Disney family in exchange for an equity position. Nice, not bad. It's a good deal for both. Merger news, Starbucks, SBUX, JD.com, and Tencent are apparently on a short list of companies that are interested in making a bid for Starbucks' Chinese operations. Remember last week we told you that they were looking at selling their Chinese operations. Well, here are 2 bidders that are looking into it. That's really what I'm seeing this morning in terms of news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. We've now made it to that time of the show for the Trade Talk Pick of the Day. Bill, kicking off a new week here. What's your pick of the day today?
DigitalOcean, DOCN, David Oscar Charlie Nancy. Earnings are out Tuesday morning. EPS is 47 cents. Expected move is 15.73%. Okay, look at Friday's call volume. 10,146 to 1,363. Yeah, that's bullish. Open interest, 45,220 to 28,677. That's bullish. And the major brokers are positive. And the guidance was, I was re-looking at last quarter's earnings report, and all I can say is I felt that their guidance was conservative. They did deliver a beat last quarter, but that conservative guidance gives them the opportunity to do well this quarter. So, yeah, I'm thinking DigitalOcean, DOCN today, and I'm looking for an entry price 26, 15 area, somewhere give or take 10 cents. But that's kind of what I'm looking at. DigitalOcean today, DOCN, David, Oscar, Charlie, Nancy, Emily.
Collecting those pieces of data to make DigitalOcean your pick of the day today and looking for that specific entry point. We will follow that one along with you. And coming up, we will do a recap on Friday's pick of the day before we sign off. So stick with us through that. But first, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, take it away.
Mara Holdings, MARA, they produced 703 Bitcoins in July. Microsoft partners to launch a well-being app. They're doing that with Thrive Global. Baidu, ticker BIDU, they announced a partnership with Lyft for AV deployment in Europe. Ticker JOBY, Joby Aviation, up 5% after acquiring Blade Air Mobility business. Harley Davidson, HOG, HOG, they appoints a new CEO. Interesting. Here you go. Trump says he will name new Fed governor and BLS head this week. See, that means it's still possible, and to get that new governor on board ahead of the next vote, which I believe is September 17th, around there. Got a Bank of England policy decision this week. AMD is releasing earnings Tuesday afternoon. Caterpillar's releasing Tuesday morning. Pfizer's also releasing tomorrow morning. That's all I see this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we dive into another week of trading, let's do that check-in on Friday's pick of the day, which was Tyson Foods. They did release earnings this morning. They reported a Q3 EPS of 91 cents. That was 10 cents better than the analyst estimate of 81 cents. Revenue for the quarter came in at $13.88 billion versus the consensus of $13.54 billion. The company does see full year 2025 revenue up 2% to 3% compared to full year of 2024. Bill, the stock is up this morning. How did your call work out?
Worked out well. And you have to remember how negative the action was on Friday after the non-farms payroll report. I mean, the stock opened up at $52.68. Now, I was looking for an entry price around 52, and sure enough, the stock dipped. It actually dipped down to 51.85, so it broke my entry point, and then it recovered. It can't claw its way back to the 52.60 range. And you look at the stock this morning; it's already hit a high of $55.66. It's trading at 54.64 to 54.73. So with a 52 entry price and stock trading $2.50 higher. Yeah, and the stock's only $50. I mean, that is definitely a more than a 1% gain. And so, yeah, Tyson Foods, ticker TSN, was a winner on Friday. Was a winner, Emily.
A solid way to start August, and we will check in with you tomorrow about today's DigitalOcean pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow and each weekday morning this week at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Bonney, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.